Welcome to Toy Hill Studio. My name is Kendall Kessler. I've decided to do another Blue Ridge painting, and this time I'm going to try to get even more of a blue effect. I mean, the last one, it's always Blue Ridge, and you always see that, but there are certain atmospheric effects where it just really gets very intense. So I was thinking of kind of a misty sky, mostly blue, and some other colors too. I am just not one of these people to stick with monochromatic. Can't do it. Love to have all kinds of colors. Always been that way. And again, I'm using acrylics, which is not my main medium, but it's great to be able to work in different mediums. A lot of artists don't, but I've had training in many different mediums, and I've won awards in pastels and oils. I don't think I've won any awards in acrylics, and it's certainly not something I'm super familiar with, but I do know how to use it as a watercolor and to build it up in a more traditional way with the thin layers and then really building it up so it's kind of the oil painting effect. Now I can't stand this already. I've got to have more color, some more different colors. I'm just a real what we call a colorist, and a few colors is not for me. I like to get lots of colors and lots of colors in between them and so on and so forth. But I am going to get a real intense Blue Ridge effect, which is why I'm sticking with a really strong, kind of a dark, even though it's got a lot of color into it, a dark sky effect. Anybody that's lived in the Blue Ridge and surrounding mountains knows that it's just amazing. All the different beautiful effects you see all the time. In the morning, in the evening, it's overcast, super bright and sunny. It's just a gorgeous place. I can't imagine living anywhere else. I'm not from this area, but I have lived here my adult life. Quite a number of decades now, more than I care to admit to. And that's kind of silly, but who likes to admit to their age? Some people don't mind, but I kind of like to keep it quiet. But I have been here for many decades and have observed such gorgeous atmospheric effects. Not that you don't see those in other places, but there's just nothing like the Blue Ridge, in my opinion. Okay, I really like that. I was going to think of doing some light in the sky, but right now I think I'm just going to keep it dark like that. But I am going to do what I've said before in the last one, that you do get more of a different kind of blue in the mountains in the background. Usually, not always, but usually you see more of a greenish blue, and then it starts to get more cerulean as you come forward. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it lighter because it's going to sink into the sky, so I'm going to have to get a bit lighter. As always, I'll probably go back into this. Sometimes I don't with these paintings that I do for YouTube, but lately I have been going back into it. And I was real pleased in the last one that even though I liked the sky effect, I didn't want to lose some of the bleeding that happened by having the real wet paint and the wet surface. I was able to go back into it and modify it a certain amount and not lose that. And that was really nice. So, as I said before, you're always learning when you paint. It's never just something you know how to do. I've always wondered, people that think that, I guess they think somebody sits down to the piano and just starts playing it. You have to learn. And you learn your whole life long. That's what's fascinating about it. And that's what keeps me going, is that I'm always learning. And my latest painting, my oil painting, that's mainly what I do. It's a floral. I am just really impressed with how intense the flowers are. This is the most intense floral I have ever done. They are just, it's not 3D, although there are some artists that will combine 3D with 2D now. So it actually does come out to you. It's not that, but it's so three-dimensional. Okay, as I come forward, I'm going to have to use some green. Just trying to just keep it Blue Ridge, but that's what happens as you come forward. You start to see the greens and the trees because of the atmosphere, light reflecting on on dust particles, they dissolve into this beautiful blue as it goes back. And then, getting forward, you start to see what it really is, which is trees, of course. I know there are some ranges that don't have heavily trees, but in the Blue Ridge, it's just one tree after the next. You hardly ever see any areas where you don't have that. I think I'm going to have a problem here. I'm going to have to probably have one ridge lighter, or they're just going to go all together. And that happens a lot too, which is really beautiful when you see the light going in and around them. So I'm going to have to do that, or I'm going to lose this range. Talking and deciding at the same time, which, as I said before, is something I did when I taught at the university for 20 years. So I'm used to it, and kind of like it that way, because I did that for so long, where I would demonstrate, but much faster than this, because it was, as I said, it's art appreciation. Most of them were just taking because they had to take it, and weren't that interested. So I did it so fast, and just talked through it. Okay, now I'm not sure what I want to do. I guess what I'll do is do even a little more alteration here. Definitely have that one lighter, and then the next one real dark. And maybe even really, really super blue too. Well, that's not gonna happen because my blue is not dark enough. And like a lot of colors, we don't use black. I know it's kind of weird. There's nothing wrong with black. I was taught not to use it like it was such a terrible thing to do. Oh yeah. Some things that you're taught are things to forget. Ren Ross said it was the queen of colors. It's just, sometimes people get into these notions about something that is just not easily explained, and that's the way art is. And they try to explain it, and they just try to decide, this is the way it's got to be, it's got to be this way, and you can't just change my boy. I'm kind of liking this. That is working pretty well. And I've only gone 7 minutes, so that was really quick. Now I don't know if I want to work back into it now or later. I think I'll work a little bit back into it now with a smaller brush. See if I can't separate out things a little bit more. I'm real pleased how this one right here just kind of took on a shape, which is also, like I said, they're flat in the background, and they start to take on more of a shape as they come forward, and that one really did. I think that's nice. And I think what I'll do is just separate that back area a little bit more, and then this can just be a short one. I like to have them like 15 to 20 minutes, but you know what's wrong with having a short one once in a while? Okay, let's see, I have to get it really, really light. Yeah, I haven't used any yellow in this one. I was thinking I was going to use a lot of yellow in the sky. Okay, that didn't help one bit. And I don't know, I just really kind of like that pink effect. Okay, there, that's starting to separate it more. But I'm also losing a lot of the color too. It's getting really not much color at all. So I feel that's something I'm going to have to work on, probably off camera, to get the effect I want. Probably go back into the sky and change the contrast there too. Oh, speaking of contrast, I don't know if I mentioned, no, I think I did mention this in the last one. Well, I might mention it one more time. But, if you think those masks that medical people are telling you to wear don't do any good, check out Me and Orson Welles, really great film with Zac Efron that I recently saw, that had, when they were on stage doing Caesar, the contrast was such that you could see just tremendous amounts of water coming out of their mouth, little particles of water, little droplets, just zooming out of their mouth quite a distance ahead of them. So if you don't think those masks do any good to hold in those water particles with the disease, you're wrong. They certainly do. You just don't see that as it's coming out of your mouth. I'm just real concerned about this virus. I mean, who isn't? And I think there's a lot of people trying to act like it's nothing and that it's just false information. I don't think that's true. I just don't believe that's true at all. Okay, I think I'm going to change that color in the back, and since the way this effect is, I think I'd be better off to use the more of a cobalt blue, which certainly does happen. If you look at this mountain range, the ranges around here, sometimes you will see that, or you don't see that real kind of bluish color, blue-green color in the background. You just see more of this cobalt, just a lot lighter. I think that's going to work better. Okay. Now, I don't know. I have a feeling I might want to just go back into this and build up the paint so that it's not so watercolor. It's not a watercolor acrylic. You can use acrylics for watercolors, and colors are so strong that a lot of people like to do that are watercolors. But I think I'm going to build this up and more of a traditional use of the acrylic paint, because I'm not real happy with the sky area, even though it's got a lot of energy to it. It's not really what I wanted, so I think I might build it up using pretty much the same colors, and I might start getting some light too, because I think I would prefer to have some light into this and not have it quite this muted. And I'm not real happy with the way this is separated out. I think I need to work on that too, which is going to require a lot of mixing, a lot of stuff that I don't want to really do right now. So, yeah, I think I'll just stop right there. Thank you for watching. Be sure to click on the link in the description to see the final painting, because I think this one's going to change quite a bit. But I don't know, when I get back to it, I may change my mind again. Also, there's a link to my website, to my work on Etsy, and others.